All right, we're recording. Welcome to Digital Bromads. Hope everyone's having a great day out there.
Hello, Steve. I'm having a great day. How are you?
Hello, dude. I'm great. I'm just, happy to be on this recording with you, talking about life, talking about our stuff.
Judging by
It's
your
pretty chill.
background, it seems like you're nomading in your grandma's house, you know?
That's actually our vibe here in Cape Town. We're going for a coastal grandmother aesthetic.
Cool, cool.
It's a whole vibe. Like you just got to live the coastal grandmother lifestyle. So,
hmm
you wear comfortable clothes, you take morning walks on the beach. You just live a really chill lifestyle.
Water
Drink a lot of
aerobics.
water, coffee, tea, just things that like a coastal grandmother would enjoy. We're gonna make cookies, I think, this weekend. So
Is that a
really,
section on Airbnb, Coastal Grandmother?
it should be. I'll tweet the CEO and see if he can
Yeah,
get that added.
see what Brian says. That could be a good one, right next to castles.
Yes, Brian.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
I think it's Brian. I don't know.
No, you're right. It is definitely Brian.
Okay, yeah.
Now, people may have noticed that Jack and I don't look like typical podcasters. We don't have the big headphones, the fancy microphones.
hmm
One reason I think is, the first reason is because we haven't bought any yet, because we just started doing this.
hmm
But the
And we're
other
content
reason,
focused, dude. We're content focused.
yes, it's about the content. It's not about the gear.
Yeah. hmm
But one of the reasons is we are nomads and we travel light, so we don't want to have a bunch of giant microphones in our backpacks. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to carry that around. I don't know if they're heavy or not, but like they're bulky. They look bulky.
I did look up. You can get some travel or portable microphones, so maybe that's a good place for us to start, and then
hmm
we can go from there. But we are going to talk about minimalism later on this episode because it's a big part of the digital nomad lifestyle. So stick around because we will thoroughly digest or dissect. We can digest and dissect it. The minimalism topic. So that's a super important one for us. So we'll
Uh-huh.
get into that later.
And it's a good
Um,
one. It's honestly been a great thing. So, not to unpack too
it
early here.
is. It is. It's a positive, I think, in my life. So yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But first, even more important, I wasn't going to do this, but I listened to our previous episode and I made a promise. I literally used the word promise
hmm
to give an update on the female urine contraption.
Okay.
So I did some research, asked my friend ChatGPT, asked my friend Google about it. They gave me some good takes. The Google images, it is pretty much what I was picturing. It's like a funnel, and there's a larger part at the top, and then it does kind of go into a penis shape. So basically, to get more precise aim from the urine, so it is shaped like a funnel like that.
So it's not like rigid at the bottom. It's like floppy at the bottom, but like a rigid cone or
Oh no, it's rigid. It's hard.
okay, okay, it's hard. Okay.
Not floppy, not flopping around. It's just like a hard plastic device. It's all one color. Um, yeah. Now, Google gave me some really good names for this thing. So
Okay.
it goes by several different names. So one is a female urination device or an FUD or
Okay.
FUD.
Fud.
There's a personal urination device, which is a PUD.
So does that mean you're not sharing that one?
Yeah, that one's very personal. You keep that one close to your heart.
But the other one, maybe you share that with your home girls.
Any female, yeah.
Okay.
Um, there's a female urination aid. That one sounds a little medical. I don't like that one. This one's
Yeah.
really good. The stand to pee device, STP. stand to pee device.
As in you literally stand up to use this thing? Like, is that how
Yeah.
most people use this? They're not sitting down.
Yeah. So something that Google told me is it is often used by women in outdoor or travel scenarios. So, maybe you're on a
Mm,
road trip, like, because for me, like, I can just hop out of the car on a road trip in a rural area, maybe, and just go in the woods or whatever I need to do.
hmm.
Maybe for women, that's more difficult. So you bring out your PUD or your STP, and then you have the same access to just pee wherever the hell you want.
So this is also like it's almost like a camping tool. Like you don't necessarily need to have a problem. You're just it's a helpful thing.
Yeah, it says it's a device designed to help women urinate while standing or in situations where a toilet is unavailable. So, yeah, Granny's situation, she was too large for the toilet. But for anyone else, it may not be an issue like that. So,
It's more incognito too. It's so obvious when a girl's peeing in the woods, but it's a little more, when a guy's peeing, it's a little chill, right? You're just kind of standing up. Like
that's what I do. Sometimes I'll put like my hands on my hips and like make it look like I'm just looking around, like
admiring the
admiring the,
sunset.
yeah. Because if you've got your hands down here, like it is very obvious.
Right, right. Well, they probably still have to have their hands, unless there's maybe like a belt that could go with it.
Most of these, it's just the one piece. I'm seeing one that
Okay.
does seem to have some straps. That one's more expensive too. So that's if you want
Uh,
to get the premium, you can get the full strap on.
and I mean, if
So
we're talking about minimalism, maybe we just leave the straps at home.
true, true. If you really want to be a minimalist, you keep that one piece, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, I'm glad I feel more educated now.
yeah, I learned something.
Yeah,
It's
I did
important.
too. Yeah.
Important continual education.
Now, did you look up any maybe like Mexican specific ones, or you think it's pretty a universal thing?
It's like universal. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't speak to the brand or the specific type that Granny was using.
Do
But
they have any washing recommendations, Steve?
I didn't get that far,
Okay, that's fair.
but yeah, I didn't really want to. I think I got enough out of it. I was like, I don't want to do too deep, but I didn't get into any videos or anything like that. Like that'd be kind of weird.
Not like the
Girl.
WikiHow 12-step thing.
No, I didn't want my girlfriend to walk in on me like watching videos of women peeing standing up. So I made it really quick and that's all.
Yeah, that's probably wise, honestly. Well, I'm glad we kind of closed the
Now,
loop on that.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna be up for days or up for nights, like just thinking about female urinary contraptions. Like if I didn't figure out and get to the bottom of it, it would have ruined me, would have ruined my week. So yeah, I'm glad I got that figured out.
And me too, man. I mean, that was definitely interesting. So I really wanted to learn more about that. Now I feel more well versed, maybe a little more woke.
Yeah, you're woke on those device FUDs,
Yeah.
PUDs, whatever.
Either way. Yeah, apparently.
Now, I want to get into some nomad nightmares. And sometimes Jack and I will bring some stories that we find on the internet, maybe from other sources. But today, I think we each have a personal nightmare story. So these are some maybe not so great things that happened to us during our nomadic adventures that at the time really sucked, but I think we can laugh about them now. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah. I'm glad that they happened in a way.
Well, let's hear it. I think you
Yeah.
have a pretty good story, and I think maybe you've kind of shared this one with me before, but it's been a while. So yeah, let's hear it. I'm excited.
Yeah, cool. So, I had a moment where I was traveling through Central America quite a bit, and we were in Nicaragua, and there's an island in the middle of Lake Nicaragua, and it's an island composed of two volcanoes, and the lake has sharks in it. So it's a pretty treacherous,
What?
honestly. Yeah, it's
Sharks in the
literally
lake? I
either
thought that's the
shark.
one place to be safe.
I know, dude. It's crazy. There's sharks and crocodiles in this lake, and
Hmm.
the when you get to the island, you got two active volcanoes. So like it's pretty, and you take a ferry from the mainland or whatever, and you go over there. It's called Omotepe. It's a pretty hippie area. There's a lot of people there, kind of doing yoga, smoking weed, doing drugs. It's kind of one of those vibes.
So it's
And
like Coachella.
it's like
It's
Coachella,
like
but like Rihanna's not there. I don't think she's ever been. You know.
got it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and so it's kind of a smaller island, and there's really not a lot of infrastructure. There's like one tiny town, but everyone kind of lives in like little villages and things like that. And so you need a scooter to get around. And it's a little bit easier. You kind of be more self sufficient if you have a scooter. And so my girlfriend and I, we rented a scooter. And we had a great time. We were at this like yoga retreat, drinking coffee, hanging out with different people, and the sun was setting, so we wanted to go home. And this was it was off the road. You had to kind of get on a path with the scooter and go down the hill. And as I'm going down the hill, I'm like, man, it's going to be really hard going up this hill, especially as it's getting a little bit darker, right? So we go and we're leaving, and I'm driving, and I'm going up, and I kind of got to gun it a little bit because there's like these like mound of rocks in front of like the path, and you kind of got to go over these rocks. So I'm like, all right, I gotta like really send it. Kind of like sent it too hard and like end up crashing the scooter over and like really gashing my arm a little bit. And and my girlfriend, she was pretty athletic, so she jumped off, zero problems. I go down with the ship, you know, and I crashed the scooter, and I'm bleeding everywhere. It's getting dark out. There's no one around. And the only choice we have is we basically have to like keep going. And it's unfortunate. I let out a couple cuss words. I kind of had to like, how it is. You got to like let some stuff out, and then you get to get
Makes you
back on.
feel better. I
Yeah.
think it makes you feel better sometimes. I think there's like a study on that. Like if you say swear words after getting hurt, it like makes it feel better. It's like a
I
mental thing. So
I
I get it.
swear it
Yeah.
works. Yeah, it's proven. If you haven't tried it before, give it a shot. Like it's good, especially when you're in the jungle. You're not going to offend anyone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so the worst part is, I crashed this scooter, and that we're still 45 minutes away, 30, 45 minutes away from our hotel. So there's no one around. We don't have service. You just basically have to get back on the scooter and keep going. Otherwise, like, what else are you going to do? So we end up kind of like, I manually kind of lug this scooter up to where it's like not as treacherous anymore. We get back on, and we eventually get on the road and start driving down. I'm driving so scared. I'm like, there's no way I'm crashing this thing again. So I'm taking my time. Like I'm not going very fast. The sun's like basically down at this point, and we finally get back to the hotel, right? And it's kind of dark. So I'm like, okay, it's dark. Like maybe they won't notice I just totally screwed this scooter up, right? And my arm is it's gashed, it's bleeding everywhere. And I go up to the hotel lady, and she's basically like, well, I have paper towels. That's about it. There's no hospital on the island. There's no clinic. Everyone who has an issue, they go to the mainland, and then they come back via the ferry. So we're on this island. I got no choice. And so we're just putting on like rubber bands and like paper towels on my arm. And then the guys who like rented the scooter, they like come to our hotel. 'Cause it's one of those where they bring you the scooter and they take you back or whatever. And they go, and I'm like hiding my arm behind my back so they don't like notice that I got hurt, because I'm thinking, okay, if I don't like look in pain, like maybe they won't like notice. And of course they notice. Like it's their scooter. And so I'm not only am I like hurting, I got no medical treatment. Now I got to like shell out 50, $75 to these guys for like this scooter that I kind of screwed up a little bit, and that kind of added a little bit of salt to the wound,
And they
unfortunately.
didn't. Those guys like they didn't give a shit about your injury. They
No.
saw that and they were like, "Are you okay?" They were like, "Is our scooter okay?" Like
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
the sign that the scooter was fucked up.
They're like, okay, that's an indication Gringo is hurt. Like, how did he hurt
Yeah.
himself? We know. Let's get our
Right.
phones out, turn the flashlight on, and start looking at this scooter.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Oh,
I think scooters are the number one way travelers get hurt. Like, it's just they're they're easy to get on, but they're hard to master. And if you don't pay attention, you can easily hurt yourself. And so anyway, they see that, they don't care about my arm at all, and they just charge me money. Kind of feel like they add salt to the wound. But I think the moral of the story is like sometimes you don't know how remote you are until like something bad happens. And you're like, wait a second, like I don't like even if you have all the money in the world, if you have great insurance or whatever, there's just really no infrastructure to actually help you. You're kind of
if you're literally on an island with no medical facilities, yeah, you could be super wealthy and have all whatever you want in life, but if you're on an island and you get fucked up, like no one can help you.
it's
And
humbling a
I
little
think
bit.
about yeah, I mean, I think about that even when we're camping in Colorado or just yeah, in some of these remote areas. I'm like, if something goes wrong out here, I'm pretty fucked. So yeah,
I know.
just stay
I
safe.
mean, we love camping, I remember one time we were getting pretty drunk at the campfire and there's a moose. I'm like, man, if this moose charges us, we are screwed. you know?
Yeah. There was the other time I wasn't there, but people told the story about when Derek was sleeping like in a hammock and a tree just fell like right next to him and barely missed him. And like this thing was huge. And I think if it was just like a few feet, to the whatever side, like he would have been crushed. So that was sketch.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And the funniest part is we just continued, okay, it was a shocking thing and we just continued
Yeah.
hanging
All
out. We're
right.
like,
Well, have
okay,
another, have
well,
another beer.
yeah, let's check the roots of these other trees. We don't even know what we're doing. Like they seem fine. Like, let's move the hammock to a different tree. This one looks big.
Yeah. Sketch.
But it's one of those things like you got to be careful and you should, make sure that you are prepared for these sort of situations, but sometimes you just can't be. And sometimes that's the fun of it. And sometimes it doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, I spent 3 days with the whole thing on my arm, and then I eventually got back, and I got some clinic guy to help me out. So it turned out to
Have
be
you been
okay.
back? Have you been back on a moped or a scooter since?
Literally, no.
Okay.
Literally, I think because they always seem to give you the option, right? Scooter or four wheeler. Now I'm a four wheeler guy. Yeah.
That's just so much safer. Yeah. I mean, four wheels versus two, it's a lot harder to flip that thing.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Now, Steve, you've gotten into some interesting medical issues as well, though, right?
I have. And, funny enough, this story also occurred in Central America, also in a pretty remote area. Um, so I was in Bocas del Toro, Panama. Bocas del
Okay.
Toro is a group of islands off the Caribbean coast of Panama. So also a pretty remote place. Now, it seemed like every weekend they had some sort of a festival going on, and there was food, loud music, a band. I swear this would happen every weekend that I was there for like 6. And I'd ask people like, what are we celebrating this weekend? And they're like, it's our independence. And I'm like, that's what you guys said 2 weeks ago. I don't know. So a
And
lot of
we think
different
we love
independent.
partying.
Yeah, yeah. They just make up different reasons, I think, to have a party. But that's cool. It was fun. Um, and so during one of the festivals, I wanted to try all the street food that people were selling,
Mm.
and I came across this woman selling pig's feet out of a bucket.
Ew.
So I want you to picture sort of like a painting bucket or like a bucket you would get from Home Depot, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Um, there was liquid in there, some kind of a soupy liquid, and then all these pig's feet that she had, I guess, cooked
And
sitting
that
in
really
there.
spoke
So
to you.
it did. It looked not super appetizing, but I was like, oh, I want to be a cool travel guy like Anthony Bourdain, so I'm going to try. Like, this is going to be so cool. Um, and I'm eating the pig's feet, not that good. Honestly, just like a lot of cartilage, a lot of bones. I'm just kind of trying to teeth some meat off of this thing. Not a great taste, really. Just overall, not a great experience.
So it's more bone than meat. So you're working hard for not a lot of
Yes. Yeah, but like
substance.
not as worth it as a chicken wing, like the meat to bone ratio on a wing is like 90% meat, whereas it was probably 90% bone and cartilage on these pig's feet. Like, I think
And
they still had like their toenails on there.
no great, buffalo sauce.
They could have used some sauce. That would have been nice. Yeah. So I was just
Okay.
kind of raw dogging things. Yeah.
Okay, a dry rub, but really it was water.
Yeah. Yeah. They were still wet, but just not in a good way.
What do they
So
smell
later
like?
that I don't remember actually what they smelled like, but the taste was not great. Later that night, it's about 4 in the morning, and I wake up with this stabbing stomach pain. It wasn't like, oh, my tummy hurts, like your normal kind of nausea. This was like, it felt like someone was stabbing me in the stomach. And I couldn't even lie back down or try to go to like it hurt worse to lie down, so I had to stand up for the rest of the night to ease the pain. There were no stores open or anything at that time to buy any kind of pain reliever or any kind of medicine, so I just kind of toughed it out. Um, and then the next day, yeah, I still have some stomach pain. Maybe it's calmed down a little bit, but
Uh-huh.
I start to get nosebleeds.
I haven't had a nosebleed since like second grade.
That's what I was saying too. Like I haven't had a nosebleed since I was a little kid. Like what is going on?
I don't even. And by the way, getting woken up because something hurts, like something bad is about to happen. Like that never happens.
Yeah,
If
it's
you're
it's
already
not good.
asleep, that's terrible.
Yeah, yeah. So it was not something I could sleep through. That's for sure. So I start getting these chronic nosebleeds, and this goes on really for the next 2 days or so.
Hmm.
Every time I think it's calming down, like the nosebleeds just come back out. Like we would try to go out to dinner, we'd be sitting at a restaurant, and then suddenly there's just blood starts flowing from my nose, and
Did you
I
do the
gotta.
technique where you just shove up, tissues in your nostril? Or
I was doing some of that stuff, yeah, yeah, or just trying to like hold it like this. It was bad. Um, So we're going on like over 2 days of these chronic nosebleeds, and I start Googling, looking up, stuff about nosebleeds, and they're like, "Oh, if you have a nosebleed for more than like 4 hours, you need to go to the hospital." I was like, 4 hours? It's been a lot more than 4 hours.
3 days or something. Yeah.
At this point, it's getting so bad, and I'm like almost congested with like blood and stuff in my nose that it starts overflowing and coming out of my mouth. So I'm coughing up blood at this point.
Your body's like, it's coming out regardless.
Yeah. And so that's when I was like, okay, let's go to the hospital. Like I think once you start coughing up blood, that's when it's like, okay, we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's just check it
Fortunately,
out.
unlike your island situation, Bocas del Toro does have a hospital on the main island where we were
Awesome.
staying. Thank you. So we hopped in the $1 taxi, took us to the hospital. Um, they get me all fixed up there, but this doctor, he speaks a little bit of English, and we were kind of communicating. But he's like, all right, we need to give you an IV. We need to flip you over and give you a shot in your ass.
Oh my God. I've never had an ass shot before. Oh my
I had
God.
an
Does
ass
it
shot.
hurt? Like, is it a big needle for
Not,
your ass?
I didn't want to look. I was really scared. And the thing was, I was like, I don't know. these guys are gonna kill me with whatever they're like. If they're sticking stuff in me, like I don't know if that's gonna kill me, but I do know if I keep coughing up blood, that also might kill me. So I was like, I'm just gonna take the risk and let these guys do whatever to me.
You're in a strange country, and a guy tells you, "Flip over. I'm shooting something in your ass."
Yeah, and
Damn.
I just had to do it. It was my only choice.
Wow. And you're like, "Yes, sir."
Yeah, I
Wow.
wasn't about to go down in Bocas del Toro, Panama, so I
Might as well
went
go
for
down
it.
fighting.
Yeah, exactly. I think 50 Cent said that, get rich or die trying.
Right.
But this case it was like,
Get healthy.
get ash off, yeah, or whatever. So he gives me those. I think it was some steroids or something that would help stop the bleeding.
Right.
And a really key thing that the doctor did was he gave me tampons to shove up my nose. He was like, these work the best for stopping nosebleeds. So I'll show a picture of me, I think, with a tampon hanging out my nose that we can post on here too. But yeah, they
We're
actually
really
worked really well.
we're really crossing a lot of boundaries with this show already. I mean, we got women using penises to pee. We got men using tampons. Like, this is awesome. Like, this is great. We're so
Yeah,
international.
we're not afraid to go there. We're like South Park or something.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I thought so. Did it stretch your nostril out, or were they like small tampons? Like, I
They
don't
were
even
pretty
know.
small, but it
Okay.
did stretch them out, I think, a little bit. I feel like, yeah, it definitely opened me up. So anyway, I haven't really been eating these last few days. So I'm kind of bedridden after this. I think I took some time off of work.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I just hadn't been eating because of the stomach pain and all this stuff. Like I had maybe been eating some crackers or something here and there. So I'm watching while I'm kind of sick in bed, I'm watching the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary on Netflix.
Wow. Might as well.
Um,
You don't have an appetite.
yeah, exactly. But
One more thing
you know,
too.
yeah,
It is kind of funny to take off work for actually being sick. Usually, like, we're taking off work because we don't want to work, but like, you're actually taking,
exactly.
that sucks. Like,
I know it was hard for me to do. So I'm just sitting there watching Dahmer. Finally, I get an appetite. My stomach pains go away, and I get like a whole thing of Oreos. Like that's just what I had on hand, and I
okay,
crushed like this whole box of Oreos. First thing I had eaten in 3 days. So,
America, baby. That's great export.
and yeah. But yeah, it was hard to have an appetite watching Dahmer, but after not eating for so long, I just went for it. So, but yeah, eating pig's feet might be better than eating humans like Dahmer did. I guess
Yeah,
I
I think so.
still have yet to find that out, but I'm sure it's like human, and then like pig's feet is just above that. Like it can't be much better than eating a human. So.
I mean, is it one of those things where, like they want to eat every part of the animal? Like, okay, guys, like we've had all the good parts where we're out of bacon, we're out of sausage, like we got to eat the feet now.
I think it's something like that, which I can appreciate. I just think that this lady didn't, she didn't. I don't think she had a health inspector come and check out the bucket and make sure that this stuff was safe to eat before selling it.
Maybe she thought it was like a marinade. Hey, we're just gonna let this kind of chill in this stagnant water for a while.
I think that was the thought. Yeah.
Now, did you ever see anyone else like buy pig's feet from her? Like, was it like you had to wait in line for the pig's feet kind of thing,
Yeah.
or
I think someone else did. And I kind of talked to my Airbnb host about it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, visitors always get these kind of stomach issues, but like the locals, they're tough. They're used to this kind of shit."
mm, there is some truth to that, probably.
I think so.
Uh,
Oh, all right. Should we do our location highlights? Our kind of
yeah,
so we've been looking recently at one of our favorite websites called Nomad List, formerly Nomad List, now nomads.com.
shout out.
Shout out. And we've been looking at some of the top destinations that they have on there for digital nomads. And we noticed that one of the top spots right now is a place that Jack and I have visited together recently, which
That's
is
right.
Dubai.
I'm still here, actually.
Yeah, so you're still there. When I was in Kenya, they had direct flights to Dubai. So I flew over there, and to me, it felt like a utopia coming from Kenya. I mean, Kenya doesn't really have air conditioning, so I got to feel that again, which was amazing.
I bet.
Um, but let's talk about, if Dubai is an amazing city for a lot of reasons, and we can give our takes and everything about this. But Jack, so how do you feel? You've been living there as a digital nomad for a little bit now. So how do you feel like it is as a nomad city?
I mean, I really liked how you brought up like it was a nice refreshing break from Kenya because I feel the same way. I came from Bangkok. I came from, via an island or whatever, and coming here, it's like, wow, this is great. Like first world. I always say it's like the most comfortable place I've ever lived. Everyone calls you sir. The bathrooms are amazing. Sometimes I'm not down to go to the bathroom in the public area, but every bathroom's got like a guy who like stays in the bathroom and keep maintains the bathroom. I think that's great. We need to adopt that in America. Like, and so I love that. Now the whole sir thing is a little off for me because I'm a casual guy. Like I don't know, I don't need anyone to call me sir, but it was definitely it's definitely refreshing. The air conditioning. I think they also have some great food too. I love they got food from all over, obviously, but this concentration of like Middle Eastern, Pan Asian food is great. I love coming back and eating that kind of thing. I don't know if I'd eat the pig's feet, but I love eating all different types of food, and I think they do really well. Uh, so it's definitely an interesting place, right?
Yeah, and I'll say this, a lot of nomad destinations, not all the time, but a lot of them can be cheaper places because, that's a benefit of being able to work remote and live wherever you want is you can go to some really cheap destinations and, save
Right.
money than you would. So I'd say Dubai is not the cheapest of nomad destinations, but it does have so many nice resources to be comfortable. And like I feel like everything there is nice, which means there still needs to be some competition on price. So like when I went, I stayed in a super nice hotel that probably would have been twice the price, maybe three times the price if that same hotel was in the US, like in
Hmm.
New York City or something like that. So it's not super cheap, but even if you spend on the lower end in that city, it's still going to be a good experience, which I think is really nice.
And it's not like I think a lot of people think of digital nomad as like white sandy beaches, going surfing, like going to like a beach bar and stuff, and I definitely love all those things, but it is kind of cool to see the opposite end of the spectrum, which is like just crazy consumerism, materialistic stuff. They built a city out of nothing, and because of that, like it's got really crazy architecture, and there isn't like a ton to do outside of doing city stuff. So it's a different kind of vibe, and I really it's also refreshing in that way. You don't always have to go to the jungle in Nicaragua to like have a good time. You can go to the
Although
city.
Dubai also has beaches though too.
They do have beaches, yes. So man-made beaches
So
as well. So you
yeah.
could take your pick. Uh, it is great though.
Something I think is interesting that kind of gives it a little bit of a nomad vibe is it's a city of expats and immigrants. So there's
Hmm.
over 200 different nationalities. I think they say like 90% of the people who live there are not from the UAE. They come from other countries, other places. So it does have kind of a melting pot vibe that you tend to see in some other nomad spots.
And it also is like it's got that vibe as well as like this ambitious vibe. Like a lot of these people come here because they're it's almost like coming to America. Like the dream is I can come here and I can like have a good career, I can make money for my family, I can like really level up because there's opportunities here. And Dubai is pretty lax on, hey, if you come here, you get a job and you don't break our rules, you can live here. And so I think that is super attractive for a lot of people maybe that are coming from more third world countries or things like that, and I love that vibe. You can kind of make it happen if you work hard enough, so that's great. But they do have some weird laws that I would love to kind of list because they are kind of funny.
Please, yeah, you have the floor. You're the Dubai guy at this point, so yeah, I'll just you go for it, dude.
All right, so some of these I knew about and some of these I looked up and I just think they're really funny. So one law is it's illegal to swear in public. Okay. And so if someone catches you saying shit or fuck or something like that, uh, you
Oh,
can literally get fined. You can go to prison for saying those words, as well as if
dude,
you.
well, it goes
Isn't
back
that
to the
crazy?
injury thing we said earlier. So if you get injured and you yell "fuck" to make it feel better, like you could go to jail. So not only you're injured, but you're also arrested. Okay, but yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
that sucks, right? That's just adding, insult to injury at that point. That's terrible. And this is even more wild, okay? So yeah, swearing in public, I can kind of see, okay, maybe you don't want to be cursing like when there's kids around, whatever, but also swearing on WhatsApp. So if you drop the F bomb on WhatsApp, you could technically go to jail for that. And if it's just like a conversation between you and I or something, they could get us. Like, and that isn't that wild? Like, so
Yeah, dude. When I was there, I'm just thinking I probably said a lot of bad words even on WhatsApp while I was there for a few days. Like, damn, okay.
yeah. And sometimes I see the Burj Khalifa, I'm like, holy fuck, that's awesome.
And they're like,
So,
sir,
sir, you're going to prison. Um, and another weird thing is you can't throw the middle finger out. I'm not really a big middle finger guy, but if you throw the middle finger out, the punishment is deportation. They're like, get out of here, man. Like, no more flying the middle finger. So that's a weird one. Another one, which is this is one is also a little bit common in some other cities I've been to, but no eating or drinking is allowed on public transport. Uh, which I think is good because sometimes these subways, especially in America, they can get kind of gross. People are, or you don't want people eating like McDonald's on the thing and it stinks everything up. Like, so I kind of like that one. Uh, Another interesting one is dirty cars. You're not allowed to have a dirty car. If they see a dirty car on the road, they're gonna tow your car. It's like they got like this aesthetic here. Everything looks nice. We can't have your car covered in sand, screwing everything up.
yeah, and I loved that. Honestly, I loved how nice and clean everything looked.
Yeah, me too. And then another one that Dubai is a little famous for is no PDA. So you're not allowed to, you have a girlfriend or whatever, you can't kiss her in public. You can't even like hugging is technically not allowed. And it's a Muslim country, so during Ramadan these laws are actually enforced much more strictly because of it's sort of like the holy month there. So no PDA. um and this one is a really weird one. You're not allowed to flush the toilet after 10 p.m. in Dubai. I don't I don't get why that's a thing. I know I've done that. Okay? I know I've done that. Let's make sure this episode doesn't air until I've left Dubai, but I've definitely flushed a toilet past 10 p.m.
Yeah,
So,
I guess for the noise, you don't want to wake up your neighbors with a noisy toilet.
yeah, I don't know if it's like the plumbing starts to give out, like they need a break. Uh, but that is a weird one.
Oh. Yeah, I'm a big nighttime bathroom user. Not to talk about pee again, but yeah, every night I go in the middle of the night at least once, maybe more than that.
I don't know someone who doesn't.
Yeah, so I'll just make sure I don't flush next time I'm in Dubai, though.
Yeah, let it kind of sit there, let it marinate like the pig's feet. Yeah.
Now, I loved being. Do you have any other weird laws, or are we good? I want to
No,
kind
we're
of talk about my.
yeah, go for it. Let's hear it.
So one thing I loved about Dubai during my time there was going to the mall. It's the largest mall in the world, and it was beautiful. Like I feel like we spent a ton of time there, just
Yeah.
walking around, looking at stuff. It was
Yes.
amazing.
So
um,
cool.
so cool. And I was with you, Jack, right? And we were there, and we were walking through the mall,
Yeah.
and I noticed two dudes holding hands while walking together. I remember I pointed it out to you and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know people could be openly gay here. Like that's great. Like that's so progressive."
We love
Um,
that.
but no, but no, it turns out that homosexuality is definitely illegal in the UAE. And as you told me, those dudes were just bros, and that's how straight dudes bro out sometimes in this culture. Is that right?
Yeah. It's always
Just
the
guys being
people.
dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's what we're gonna do. We're homies. Like I love this guy. Like we're gonna hold some hands. I promise I have deep friendships with my friends, but I don't want to touch their hands. What if you just had like
And like,
McDonald's or you went to the bathroom or something?
yeah, no, I know some of my friends, my male friends, I definitely don't want to go anywhere near their
Ye-
disgusting hands.
I think hands got to be one of the dirtiest parts of a person,
100%.
right?
But yeah, it's just funny. We were talking, it's like it's funny how you have this conservative culture, that kind of hates on gay people. But then you're walking around holding hands. Like that just
But I
seems a little
promise
contradictory.
we're not gay. We just love each other.
Bros.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, this led to many jokes for you and me walking around, Jack. I was like,
Yeah.
hey man, should we take our friendship to the next level and start touching pinkies? How does
Yeah.
this work?
And we didn't. We just kept the jokes because I'm good, you know. Like I don't.
It's funny. I looked into this, so it is a real thing in a lot of Arab cultures for straight men, as a sign of friendship to hold hands. And actually, there was a famous picture from 2005 when
Oh,
George Bush was president of the U.S. There's a picture of him holding hands with a Saudi prince, and I guess that was kind of a big thing back in the day for people
wow.
to see that.
The things you do for foreign policy, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Just now, Jack, you said you saw something similar when you were in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, like in and I don't know if it's strictly for Saudi or it's just another Arab culture thing, but they do the nose kiss, like the nose touch. And so it's like again, like you got to get right up there and touch each other's noses. And I just I then you're breathing on my
Wait,
face.
hold on. Is this a is this like a nose to nose thing, or like lips to nose? Like one man kisses another man's nose.
I think it's nose to nose. I think it's like your nose and my nose like touch like this, which I think honestly is worse. Or I don't want to say worse. Maybe that's not the right way to think about it, but like, if you do the nose kiss with your lips, like at least like there's not like lip to lip action, but like if I, nose to nose you, like we're so close. Like our lips are touching. I'm not really a
Yeah, I can
coordinated guy.
feel.
I like I have trouble
Yeah,
doing the dap up with my friends. What if I miss the nose?
that
So
would be
sketch.
unfortunate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't even want to feel like the heat from your mouth like that close to my face. Like that's just I don't know about all that, but you
Yeah,
know,
and in their culture too, I feel like they do a lot of beard stuff, right? So then you got the beard in there, and the nose is also, I feel like, an oily part, and everyone's breath stinks. You just got to get close enough. So,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah.
That's tough. Yeah. Okay. Well, interesting stuff from sort of the Arab culture. Maybe U.S. will adopt that one of these days, and I don't know. Maybe we'll do something different. Like maybe we give each other piggyback rides and kind of normalize piggyback rides with your
Yeah,
bros
yeah,
or
like
something like that.
ear licks or something. I guess we do wet willies, you know? So that's also a
I
thing.
I fucking hate wet willies. Like when like receiving one. I like it makes me like hate if someone does that to me, I'm like, I hate you. Like you
Like, you're
suck.
not my friend. Like,
You're not my
yeah, like,
yeah. Real friends hold hands, all right? Enemies give wet willies.
I agree. I agree. At least that's how I felt. But this is why we travel, right? Like, oh, you guys are gonna hold hands. That's great. Like, good for you. And I think I'd be more okay with it if you guys were a little more accepting.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's kind of why we're giving them shit about this, right? Is like,
right.
they act like they have this big issue with homosexuality and then they do this. Although I did look this up, and I don't think anyone's been arrested in the UAE for homosexual acts for like
Oh.
almost like 10 years now. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
good. I think it is technically illegal, but they're not enforcing it. But yeah, so they are, I think, getting a little bit more progressive, I think, in that way, more so than some other maybe Middle Eastern countries. So that's good.
Yeah, that is cool. I think they are. I think the Middle East. They travel too. You know, they're rich from oil. They're going to all different places, and I think maybe they're chilling out a little bit, which I think is great. But hey, you guys want to stick to your guns and hold hands? That's fine. I mean, I guess we're slapping each other's asses in the locker room, so like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, we do our own kind of weird shit, I'd say. So yeah, it's all
Yeah.
good. Guys being dudes.
Yep. Yep.
Um, Now, all right, man, we're kind of running out of time. I don't know if we want to do the minimalism thing because I feel like it's kind of a big topic. Maybe we'll save that for the next
Yeah. Okay.
episode,
Okay.
and maybe this
Okay.
episode we'll do a segment we call "On the Road Again." Now, this is
Okay.
where we talk about some sort of transportation, different forms that we've taken in our travels. So, for this episode, Jack, we decided on not trains, not buses, but
Camels.
camels. Yeah. So, let's get into it. What do we think? So you have been on a camel in Morocco. That's where I was on a camel also. They have camels all over Morocco.
Yeah, yeah. I think mine was in I don't even know how to pronounce the city. It was some I think it was actually kind of close to Algeria or something, but out there in the Sahara. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, same in the Sahara Desert. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't like it though. I mean, obviously I get there and it is cool. Like, okay, I'm getting on a camel. These things look
Yeah.
crazy up close. They're huge
Yeah.
animals.
Huge.
They give us the whole garb and everything. So I'm
Oh
really
yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
that part. And then, a few minutes later, I'm like, man, my kind of sore. Like, it's kind of tough. Like, it's kind of uncomfortable a little bit.
It is uncomfortable. They're also pretty slow. Like it's just a slow form of transportation.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say it's pretty cool that camels can just rip across a vast desert like, with no problems, like minimal water. Like that's pretty badass.
Yeah, it is a really cool skill to have because we would definitely die in that desert.
100%. So, yeah.
It is also weird how, I don't know what your experience was, but you don't really get to like steer the camel like you're on a horse and you're driving the horse around or whatever. Like it's sort of like a cat. Like they listen to their masters, and you kind of go along wherever they go, basically. You're
Yeah.
not like
Yeah,
galloping around. Like,
definitely not. Yeah. So it is interesting.
hmm And then when you get off the camel, I felt like I was pretty. I feel like they're wider than horses. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just not flexible, but they're super wide. I get off and like walking around bow legged a little bit, like
Mm.
after an hour or so.
So that's camels for today. And yeah, I mean, hey, it's something that everyone should try once in their life at least. I probably won't, I might do it again. What am I talking about? It was fun. It was cool to just be on a camel and do something weird. And yeah, wearing the garb, I think, was the best part. Like the pictures were cool. You know, I'm looking like a ninja, like I'm in Mortal Kombat or something like that. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love the Arab. I love wearing that stuff. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it does help because it was kind of hot. It's hot out there in the desert. Damn.
For sure. Yeah, that sun is no joke.
Hmm. But it's beautiful when you have water and everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, seriously, one of the most amazing places I've been is the Sahara Desert, going out to the dunes, seeing the sunsets out there and all that was just incredible.
It's beautiful. And for miles, that's all you see. When you kind of get up to like a top dune, you look around, it's crazy. It's
I
crazy.
know other places in the world have some deserts and some dunes like that. So, yeah, definitely want to check that out in some other places too.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Should we wrap up here and
Yeah.
see, do we have yeah, that was a fun episode. Definitely good to have some memories, talking about being on some islands and needing medical treatment. That's always
Hmm.
fun to relive those moments.
I agree. And it was good hearing we got some closure with the urinary device. So that was good.
Yeah, we should try on our next episode to not talk about urine. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but we can try.
Okay. Okay, a little personal
Yeah.
goal. I like that. Think about it.
Now, apologies, we did not get to our nomad hacks on today's episode, but we do have a really big one, like we said, that we want to talk about on our next episode, which is minimalism. We'll definitely spend a lot of time talking about that because it is something that goes hand in hand with digital nomading, something I didn't realize when I first started this, that would actually be such a big part of it. So, definitely want to give you guys some insight on that.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'll be a good one.
And of course, as always, if any listeners out there have any stories that they want to share, maybe you had a medical emergency, maybe you have a hack, a tip for us that that could help us with our travels. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
of course, if you like this podcast, subscribe, leave a 5-star review. Yeah, only good reviews. If you want to leave a bad review, um,
Just text
just
it to
just
us.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, just text it to us and let us know why we suck. But you don't need to tell everyone else why we suck. Just let us
That'd be
know.
great. Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah. What else? Anything else? Any final thoughts from you, Jack?
No, I think it was good. I love that we got to talk about a maybe not a super typical nomad destination. So that was fun.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
glad you're okay with, getting an ass shot and feeling better after those pig feet. So I think I can just live through you on that one and not try it myself. So
Yeah, I got to experience that for all of us.
yeah, that was good. And until next time, Steve, what do we say?
Take a weird trip. Take a weird trip.
Right? See ya.
Bye.